open this session in the presence of the mayor of Sighet and our distinguished guest. We have here a reunion of Sighet citizens, as we've heard from Yes, ex-veterans, okay. As we have heard, Chief Rabbi of Russia, Rabbi Lazar, President of Limud, Aaron Frankel, myself, my great-grandfather, who had here a printing house, and many others here. Great. And the grandfather of, and the father of Rabbi Fried, and many others, and it's really very moving. And what we will try to do now is to focus on the issue that we all came here for, which is the war against anti-Semitism, against hatred, against cruelness. And I would like to open, before I'll give the permission to the president of Limud, Mr. Aaron Frankel, to make some opening remarks, I would like to say very few words that I think are very fitted in the place where we are here. We are here in the house of Elie Wiesel, the Nobel Prize laureate. All his life, he grew up here, and then he saw all his brothers and sisters going, many of them, most of them, went to Auschwitz, but instead of becoming desperate, he had one word that he always used, and this was hope. And this is actually a very Jewish tradition. When we are here, he always said that there's nothing like a new anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism is the older tradition, and he brought some examples, like it started with Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, that said that the Jews are too many, and they are going to throw us from the land. And then he moved on in Jewish history to Persia, to Haman, that said that there is one people in the world, and this people, he didn't even mention their name. Vishnu Amechada is one people, and their religion is different from the others, and they are not keeping the laws. This was the old anti-Semitism, and then if you would move on in the history, but thank God nowadays the attitude and this, what we are doing here is, of course, part of it is we are here to declare to the world, to the city, to the whole world, no more. And we are all cooperate in this mission. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you are a human being, you have to fight anti-Semitism. And I just want to conclude my opening remarks. Dr. Rappel mentioned before, when we were in the mayor's office, that Jews all over the world this week, on Monday and Tuesday, we're celebrating a festival called Simchat Torah. Simchat Torah, this is the festival, the Jewish festival, when we finish to read the all 5 books of Moses, the Pentateuch, and we're starting again. And the first portion of the week that will be read all over the world in 2 days' time on Saturday would be the first chapters of Genesis. And there is a concept which is very important to our conference here. First of all, the description of the creation of the world. It tells us about the creation of human being, and every human being, it doesn't matter who he is created in the image of God. That's one thing. The second thing is that there is evil in the world. We know that when God created man, the book of Genesis said that every person is bad. It's very thoughtful. Is bad from his youth, but actually, according to Jewish tradition, in the minute that when he goes out of his mother womb, he's a bad man. But on the other hand, that's the message is that even though all the first human being was born alone, and our sages asked, why was he born alone? One person. And that is for the answer in the Talmud is that no one in the world, it doesn't matter who he is, can say that my father is greater than your father. We all came from the same person, all the people in the world, all human beings. And the last thing, and also Dr. Appel mentioned it, the first murder in the first chapters of Genesis, we are reading about the first murder in the world. Two brothers. There were only two brothers in the world, and one killed the other. And this is again something that we have to think. There is an evil in the world, but as Elie Wiesel, and we are now in his house, used to say, the opposite of the good is not the bad. The opposite of the good is the indifference. When you are apathetic, when you don't do anything, when you stand aside. So I think it's much more than a symbol that we are here. Thank to the mayor, thank to the municipality, thank you to all people who are gathering here, that we are here to say we won't stay silent. We are going to fight anti-Semitism, we are going to fight hatred, we are going to fight cruelness. We won't stay aside, but we'll fight against it. So it's now my pleasure to ask Mr. Aaron Frankel, the president of Limud FSU, and also a descendant of Siget's people, to make some opening remarks. Please.
Thank you. As I say earlier, we came from Jerusalem, and now remember that Jerusalem has many names as a capital of the Jewish people, and one of them is Yerushalem. It means you will see peace. It's one of the translation or the names of Jerusalem. It means seek for peace. We are in a peace mission. The world today is really not simple, and the world is having more than ever struggle for identity, struggle for peace, disintegration of previous empires, new presidents, not simple world today. And we should live, here I see leaders of different organizations, city, states, and others. We should live by the example and give example to everyone, to the youngsters, to the elderly, by our behavior and our action. When in this Yom Kippur, the Prince of Monaco joined us for Ne'ilah, it's a sign from him to everybody else that he respects us, he is with us, he is for peace, he is for unity. When President Putin is coming for candle lighting of Hanukkah or any other occasion, so we're meeting the President of Israel, Netanyahu, in the museum which Rabbi Nazar created, Museum of Tolerance, it's a sign to everybody else how to behave. So each one of us is committed to show example for the others and create the tone of the line, so how we should behave. As I say, people here are devoting their time, their efforts, the energy to Hanukkah first, and we should really appreciate that we can see each one in his community or his home and enjoy life, but we are sacrificing and doing our best that we can contribute and show the example for others. I'm happy to be here at the house of Elie Wiesel. He was visiting us 3 times in Monaco, giving speeches. Usually once a year we're doing a big dinner, and he was always searching for peace. Of course, he came out from the Holocaust, talking about the Holocaust, but he was a warrior for justice, warrior for peace. He take care about African problems, African immigrants, African atrocities all over the world, Asia, in other places. So he was an example of a great human being, very talented. We was always astonished I mean, we was sitting and listening to him. He was a big orator, how he spelled out his thoughts. And we'll try to go in his life, in his direction of peace and cooperation and goodwill to everybody. So thank you for welcoming us here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frankel. Before we continue and I'll ask Rabbi Lazar to speak, I would like to ask Mr. Chaim Chesler and Mr. Aaron Tamir, the initiators of all this occasion, to give an expression of thank you to the local people, please.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to present today, on this occasion here in Sighet, an acknowledgement and a confirmation to the mayor and to the head, the chief of the local police, for the great job they did in catching and bringing to justice these people, the one, I don't know how many, that did this awful crime here on the walls of this house. We believe to fight anti-Semitism, you don't have to get an award and rewards for it. It's a must, it's a duty. But you know, we have to appreciate whoever does what you did here, and the police, and what you are doing, and what you stated today, that you are going to fight anti-Semitism and to do whatever you can in order to keep the memory. So for that we decided, Limud and Marta the Living, that we will appreciate it, and we will use this opportunity to thank you on behalf of you and the police, to the city, to the people, to the police forces, and to call from here, do whatever you did, eliminate, fight against anti-Semitism, denial of Holocaust. So we'd like to ask Chaim to say a few words and then to present.
I will not repeat what my friend said. I only want to say to the mayor and to the chief police. First of all, we all were shocked where all these signs were put on this house where we just took a picture. And the mayor, in 24 hours, the building was new. There was nothing there. Not a week later, they found that somebody did it. And I want to tell Mr. Mayor, because we're working now already a few years together. We feel like brothers. We feel welcome here. And the most important things, look, this Jewish community, you see who came from there. Big names, not just television. We have some future visits. But you consider this community, this very small community, that used to be thousands of people. Some perished in the Holocaust, some came back and later on immigrated to Israel and to other places. You have only now maximum 100 Jews. Lieberman said 24, the head of the Jewish community from Bucharest said 100. You know what, 105. But you treat us and the Jews as a whole, and in particular here, like the 10,000. For this, we want to acknowledge you for taking care of the Jews, no matter what number they are, and the contribution they do to Mr. Lieberman. And now, we will officially will give you this placard. One to the mayor, and one that's for you. Okay, that's for you. And I want everybody to stand up so we take a picture with the mayor. Okay, and then the chief of police. Where is the chief of police?
Here, please come here.
Look, you look like a sportsman.
He is.
Nice looking man.
Okay.
Okay,
חיים, טיפה לפה.
okay.
Show it to the people.
Gentlemen, please.
Okay, and now we have one last.
רגע, חיים.
Okay.
One more.
Now we have another small, quick, from the head of the Jewish community in Bucharest, Eddie, the Secretary General. He wants to give an acknowledgement. That's more important for you than us. They are from Bucharest. Okay. Please, Eddie. And that's the end of this ceremony.
Mr. Mayor, I want to express again the gratitude of the Jewish Federation of Romania, and on behalf of our president, Mr. Aurel Weiner, we want to give you a small token of our gratitude. It is a special medal made by the National Bank of Romania, a silver coin with the face of Elie Wiesel.
Thank you very,
A
very
small
much.
booklet about Elie
It's a
Wiesel.
lovely thing. Thank you.
Thank you again for the help that you are providing to the local Jewish community, and also for the memory of Elie Wiesel and for all the Jews who lived once in this place. And thank you for all the guests.
Thank you. תודה רבה. פרופסור אביעד הכהן, now it's your floor.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we continue, I would like also to express our thanks to Mr. Lieberman, the head of the community of Sighet, the Jewish community in Sighet, for all his efforts. We would like to thank you.
s-a făcut în România?
Doesn't matter as long as it's short,
Long
because
as
I'm short in time. So very short, few words. Few words. Okay, thank you.
Stimați oaspeți și stimați prezenți sigheteni aici, în primul rând doresc să
Dear
mulțumesc
guests and signators around us,
în primul rând doresc să mulțumesc domnului Haim Cisler,
first of all, I would like to thank Mr. Chaim Chisler,
cu care colaborez de 2 ani de zile în
with whom we
organizarea
are
evenimentelor religioase
collaborating to do such events in Eliezer house,
și colegilor săi, care
and his
Arale
colleagues
Tamir also.
too.
Arale Tamir.
de aceea domnului Arel Tamir, care este președintele Fundației Marșul Vieții,
And president of March for Living,
care s-a asociat la această grupă.
associated to our group.
Mulțumesc și celorlalți participanți aici care au venit din Israel și din alte țări.
I would also like to thank everyone who has come from Israel and from the other countries.
Interesul nostru aici în Sighet este să menținem încă viața, flacăra vieții evreiești.
Our interest is to keep alive the flame of the Jewish life in Sighet.
Nu spun că este ușor, este greu,
I wouldn't say it is easy, it is quite difficult,
dar nu avem voie să ne ridicăm mâinile. Trebuie să mergem înainte
but we have to keep on marching ahead
și să lăsăm o amprentă permanentă
and leave our fingerprint
în continuare privind
continuously
viața evreiască în Sighet.
concerning the Jewish life here in Sighet.
Avem o colaborare fructuoasă
We
cu
have
domnul primar
a very fruitful collaboration together with the mayor's staff
și cu conducătorii diferitelor etnii de aici din Sighet,
and the leaders of the other ethnic groups in Sighet
ca o continuare a vechilor tradiții dinainte de 1940
as a continuation of the old traditions dating even before 1944.
și să sperăm că vom continua această colaborare.
Mr. Lieberman, we just
hopefully-
very short in time, so if you can just make conclusion sentence, and we have to
תודה
finish.
רבה.
That's right. תודה רבה.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you again. Everyone who lives in our world knows how important it is to fight anti-Semitism, and one of the very few voices that is heard again and again is the voice of Rabbi Lazar, the chief rabbi of Russia. It doesn't matter if he speaks from Moscow, if he speaks from Jerusalem, wherever he is. I think that his voice is so important to all of us, and we would like now ask Rabbi Lazar, the chief rabbi of Russia, to say please.
It's an honor for me to be here at the house of Elie Wiesel. I understand it's his birthday. 90 years ago, a special man was born, maybe even in this house. Grew up here, and we all know his contribution, his achievements, his heroic work in fighting anti-Semitism and in keeping peace and understanding between all people. It was just mentioned that we're reading the beginning of the Torah, where we speak about the birthday of the first person was created alone, and the Talmud gives one more reason to teach us that whoever saves one person, it's as if he saved the whole world. If somebody kills one person, it's as if he destroyed the whole world. When we think of the thousands and thousands of people that were killed during the Holocaust for no other reason, just because they were Jewish, this is an incredibly important lesson for each one of us today. Hatred brings killings. Killings brings destruction, and at the end of the day, everyone loses from it. Nothing good comes out from hatred. And we have a mission in this world. The mission is to make the world a better place. Not to be indifferent when we see hatred around us, when we hear voices, when we see graffitis, when we see attacks. And maybe this is actually one of the strongest lessons in this week's portion. After Adam and Eve went against God's will, God turned to them and he asked them, "Where are you? Ayeka." And of course God knew what they were. The question that Yaakov was really asking them, I gave you life. I gave an opportunity. You can do good. You can spread love and help each other. And look how you turned around and you went against my will. And this is really, I think, a question to each one of us. When we see a graffiti on the house of Elie Wiesel, it's not only the graffiti. That's not what bothers us. The question is, why is this person inclined to go and put up a graffiti? What's in his mind? Who taught him to hate? And this is really the question that God is asking each one of us. Where are we? Do we take responsibility for the future generation? And I want to thank the mayor, and I want to thank the chief of police for everything they did. But I think their responsibility is about educating people with understanding and love. And this is what Limud FSU does. It's about educating a new generation of people that will take responsibility to spread goodness. So it's an honor for me to be here. I think Elie Wiesel is surely proud that we came back to his hometown to spread the message of how we want to be together with everybody. We want to help each other. Only by mutual understanding and dialogue and discussion we can better understand each other, how we can turn the world in a better place and prepare it for the coming of Mashiach. So I really hope that this event today, it's a small event, but I'm sure it's going to resonate throughout the world, that the city of Sighet has zero tolerance for any kind of xenophobia, hatred, misunderstanding between people, and we're going to spread the message of peace, love, and I'm very happy that we have representatives here of other religions. I'm very thankful to the community of Sighet. I think they have to stand strong, make sure that every Jew is going to be part of the community and continue our tradition for many, many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rabbi Lazar. As we've heard, the fight against hatred, the fight against anti-Semitism is not a Jewish fight, it's not a non-Jewish fight, it's a human being mission and duty. And we are privileged to have with us here one of the leading religious groups here in Sighet, Priest Olich Georgi, and we would like to...
Ulic, Georgi.
Olich? Sorry.
Ulic.
Olich, sorry, and we would like very much to listen to your words, please.
Da. Bine, mulțumim frumos. Mă bucur că sunt prezent azi și aici.
I am happy to be here between us, among you,
La acest eveniment al comunității dumneavoastră,
on the occasion of this event
ca
concerning your community.
Ca reprezentant al Bisericii Ortodoxe Române,
Representing the Orthodox Church, Romanian Orthodox Church here,
doresc ca relațiile de conviețuire care au existat până acum să se mențină și pe mai departe.
I would like that relations of living together could be continued
Între români și celelalte etnii,
between the Romanian ethnic groups and the other ethnic groups.
atât la nivel de Sighetul Marmației, cât și în întreaga țară și în întreaga lume.
And I am thinking on the level of this small town of Sighet, as well as on the a larger scale in the whole world.
Pentru că Dumnezeul nostru este Dumnezeu al dragostei, al păcii și al iubirii.
Because our God is the God of love and of friendship.
Mulțumim frumos pentru invitație.
Thank you very much for your invitation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As we have said before, the fight against anti-Semitism is not only a public, but the main field of it, it's the educational field. And we are privileged to be here, that some among us, we have one of the leading Roshei Yeshivot, the head of a Torah Academy, a dean of the Torah Academy in Gush Etzion, Rabbi Moshe Lichtenstein. And we would like to ask him to say a few words about the educational perspective of the fight against anti-Semitism. Please.
Also, he's a grandson of the Romanian.
Thank you very much. I just discovered that non-Jews speak much shorter than Jews speak, and I will speak a bit longer than the previous speaker, with your permission. Religion can be a cause, on one level, for harmony, another level for disharmony, discord, and, God forbid, even worse. Because religion talks in absolutes. Religion tells you this is absolute truth. This is not what you maybe think. This is what you are, despite what you're convinced of, this is what you are divinely revealed. And therefore you're willing to go to great lengths in order to achieve and to realize your religious goals. And because of that, on one level, religion tells you what really matters is not down here on earth. What really matters is way beyond earth. We talk about eternity. Eternity belittles any differences down here on earth. But on the other hand, those eternal truths reflected and refracted down here in the world can cause tremendous discord. And that's why religion is a double-edged sword regarding conflict and culture, and conflict and war, and maybe worse, God forbid, between different groups. I think all this, I'll relate this in a moment, but I think we have to take a step backwards. At the moment, the great divide in the world is not between different religious groups, the way it was in the Middle Ages. At the moment, the great divide is between believers and non-believers, between what my grandfather would call a faith community